Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News fans. The sun dipped low over a breathtaking ocean vista, painting the sky in streaks of fiery orange and soft lavender. The golden Bachelor mansion shimmered with anticipation. Tonight was the night that everyone had been waiting for. Inside, Mel adjusted his tie for the 100th time, pacing back and forth in his suite. "Okay, Mel," he murmured to himself, looking into the mirror. "You've got this. This is it. The final two." For months, he had been through a whirlwind of emotions. Laughter, tears, and the occasional dramatic confrontation that reality TV thrives on. But now it all came down to this: choosing between the two women who had captured his heart in entirely different ways. The producers had left him alone for a moment, but the mansion's corridors were buzzing with excitement. In the rose room, the roses were arranged perfectly, gold stems for the final two, waiting to be handed to the women who would continue the journey with him. Mel sat on the edge of the bed, exhaling slowly. "I never thought it'd be this hard," he admitted quietly. Memories of every date, every laugh, every late-night conversation flooded back. How could he choose between two women who had brought so much joy into his life? Just then, his phone buzzed with a message from the host. "Mel, it's time. The limo is waiting for your final two. Make this moment count." He nodded, straightened his suit one last time, and stepped outside, feeling the warm breeze against his skin. Two limousines approached slowly, their engines purring like lions ready to roar. Heart pounding, Mel watched as the first door opened. And there she was. The first woman was Cindy. From the moment she stepped out of the limo, she radiated confidence and warmth. Her golden dress shimmered under the sunset, her smile both nervous and glowing. Cindy walked toward him, and for a moment, time seemed to slow down. They embraced, the tension and longing of the past months condensed into the single, electric hug. They walked along the veranda, overlooking the crashing waves. "I've never met anyone like you, Mel," Cindy admitted. "You've been so patient, so caring, and I know," Mel interrupted gently, taking her hand. "I feel the same way, Cindy. All of this, it's been amazing, Cindy. You've made this journey unforgettable." They talked for hours, or it felt like hours. Every laugh, every shared memory made the decision heavier for Mel. Cindy had a spark that was impossible to ignore, and the bond they shared felt timeless. Yet in his heart, he knew there was another woman he had to consider. The second limo rolled up with an air of quiet elegance. Out stepped Sophia, whose grace and gentle demeanor contrasted Cindy's fiery personality. Sophia's eyes held a depth that always seemed to see right through Mel, understanding his doubts and fears even before he spoke. "Mel," she whispered, walking toward him, "I can't tell you how much this means." Mel felt a rush of emotion. With Sophia, it was different. Slower, more contemplative, yet just as intense. He remembered the moments where she had comforted him, made him laugh, and shared her world with him in ways that felt deeply personal. They strolled to the beachside pavilion, the golden light bouncing off the waves. Sophia turned to him, her eyes glistening. "No matter what happens tonight, I just want you to know I've loved every moment with you." Mel held her hand, squeezing gently. "I feel the same, Sophia. You've made me see a different side of life, one I don't ever want to let go of." The decision weighed heavily on him. Cindy's fire and spontaneity were irresistible. Sophia's depth and calm understanding were equally compelling. How could he choose? The final rose ceremony loomed. The golden roses gleamed under the soft chandelier lighting of the mansion's ballroom. The cameras rolled, capturing every heartbeat, every flicker of emotion. Mel took a deep breath. "This is it," he said quietly to himself. The producers gave him the cue. Cindy walked toward him first, her eyes shining. "Mel, I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything," Mel replied, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I just want you to know that you mean so much to me." He handed Cindy a golden rose. She gasped, tears welling in her eyes. You're giving me the rose?" she whispered. "Yes," Mel said, smiling warmly. "You're one of my final two." Cindy hugged him tightly, her laughter mixing with quiet sobs of joy. Then came Sophia. Mel's heart raced as she approached. "Mel," she murmured. "I want you to have this," he said, handing her a golden rose as well. "You're the other woman I've chosen. My final two." Sophia's face lit up, tears streaming down her cheeks. She embraced him, the moment charged with emotion. The room was a whirlwind of emotions, excitement, relief, and anticipation for what was to come. Cindy and Sophia stood side by side, both glowing, both connected to Mel in ways that promised future adventures and shared dreams. Mel looked at them both, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't felt in months. "I can't imagine this journey without either of you," he said softly. "The past months, they've changed me, made me realize what's really important: love, honesty, and connection." Cindy smiled. "We know, Mel, and we're ready for whatever comes next." Sophia nodded, her eyes sparkling. "Yes, together or apart, this has been unforgettable." The Golden Bachelor finale had reached its emotional peak, and the world watched, captivated. Mel had chosen his final two women, and while the future was uncertain, the present was filled with love, hope, and the promise of new beginnings. As the sun finally dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose, Mel, Cindy, and Sophia walked along the mansion's terrace, a trio bound by shared memories, laughter, and the thrill of what lay ahead. The Golden Bachelor had made his choice, and the story of Mel and his final two women was only
The Golden
just
Bachelor
beginning.
mansion perched on a cliff overlooking the Pacific, its walls bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. Inside, Mel adjusted the cuff of his shirt for the 100th time, pacing the suite like a man caught between two impossible choices. It had been a long journey, weeks of roses, dates, and whispered confessions in shadowy corners. Now, with only two women remaining, the weight of the moment pressed on him. "I can't believe it's down to this," he muttered under his breath, staring at his reflection in the mirror. He saw not just a bachelor, but a man wrestling with the most difficult decision of his life. The faces of the women flashed in his mind, their smiles, their laughter, the way each had carved a place in his heart. His phone buzzed. A message from the host blinked across the screen. "Mel, it's time. The final two are waiting. Make it count." He took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of the night. The first limousine arrived, its engine purring like a quiet beast. Out stepped Cindy, radiant and confident, her golden dress shimmering in the sun's last rays. From the moment she stepped onto the veranda, Mel felt a jolt in his chest. Cindy had a fire about her, spontaneous, vibrant, and full of life. Every date they had shared had been an adventure: horseback riding along cliffs, late-night rooftop stargazing, and those quiet dinners where she had opened her heart in ways he hadn't anticipated. "You look incredible," he said, his voice catching slightly. Cindy smiled, a blush creeping across her cheeks. "So do you, Mel. I can't believe we're finally here." They walked along the cliffside path, the waves crashing beneath them. Cindy leaned into him. "I've loved every moment," she whispered. "Even the fights, the misunderstandings, everything made us stronger." Mel squeezed her hand. "I know. I feel it too. You've been my spark, Cindy, the one who reminded me to laugh, to be spontaneous, to embrace life." As the limousine for the second woman rolled up, Mel's heart tightened. He knew this moment was going to be even harder than he imagined. The second limo door opened slowly, revealing Sophia. Elegant and serene, her presence the perfect contrast to Cindy's fiery energy. Her dress, a deep midnight blue, shimmered under the fading sun, and her eyes, calm and steady, met Mel's with a depth that made him catch his breath. "Sophia," he breathed, stepping toward her. "Mel," she said softly, walking into his embrace. I can't believe this is real. Their connection had always been quiet but profound. With Sophia, every conversation felt like peeling back layers, discovering new depths. She had challenged him intellectually, comforted him emotionally, and in her presence, Mel felt both grounded and inspired. They strolled along the terrace, the wind tugging playfully at Sophia's hair. No matter what happens tonight, I just want you to know how much I've cherished these moments with you, murmured Sophia. Mel held her hands, feeling the familiar warmth. I feel the same, Sophia. You've made me see parts of myself I didn't even know existed. As they awaited the final rose ceremony, Mel's mind wandered to memories of both women. Cindy, the time she'd surprised him with a midnight hot air balloon ride. He remembered gripping the basket, heart racing, while Cindy laughed like a child, fearless and free. This is perfect, she had said, eyes sparkling, and he had felt the same thrill, a mix of adventure and undeniable attraction. Sophia, the quiet evening when they had cooked dinner together at the mansion. They had laughed at their burnt attempts, shared stories of childhood dreams, and lingered over candlelight. Sophia had looked at him with that calm intensity, and in that moment, Mel felt something deeper, a connection beyond adventure, one that whispered permanence. The contrasts pulled at him, Cindy's vibration versus Sophia's depth, adventure versus stability, spark versus calm. He loved them both, in ways so different, it almost felt unfair. The Golden Bachelor Rose room awaited. Golden stems gleamed under soft chandelier lighting, roses waiting to be handed to the women who would continue the journey with him. Mel stepped inside, his chest tight. Cindy's eyes met his, fiery and expectant. Sophia's gaze was steady, filled with hope and a quiet plea. Mel, it's your choice, the host said gently. The final two, or the final one, it's up to you. He swallowed, heart hammering. The camera crew caught every tremor in his expression, the indecision that he could feel down to his bones. He turned first to Cindy. You've been my spark. Every moment with you has been electric. I want you to continue this journey with me. Cindy's eyes filled with tears. Really? Yes, Mel replied, handing her a golden rose. You're one of my final two. Next, Sophia. And you, Sophia, you've given me depth, understanding, a sense of calm I didn't know I needed. You're one of my final two. Sophia's lips trembled into a smile as she accepted her rose. Thank you, Mel.
Mel sank into the plush velvet chair in the mansion's lounge, staring out at the endless ocean horizon. Tonight, the final two would face him, and yet his mind was already lost in memories. Each moment with Cindy and Sophia had been vivid, distinct, impossible to forget. Cindy's adventure. Cindy had a spark that made every moment feel electric. He remembered the day they went horseback riding along the cliffs. The wind whipped through Cindy's hair as she laughed, daring him to race her to the top of the hill. "Last one there buys dinner," she had shouted. Mel had galloped after her, heart pounding, not from the ride, but from the thrill of her energy, the way she made him feel alive. When they finally reached the summit, Cindy had thrown her arms into the air. "This is perfect," she cried, spinning in the golden sunlight. Mel had watched her, heart clenching, knowing in that moment how deeply she had captured him. And who could forget their cooking challenge? Cindy had attempted to make a soufflé, which predictably collapsed into a gooey mess. But instead of being embarrassed, she had thrown her head back and laughed, a sound that echoed through the mansion kitchen. Mel had joined her, flour covering both of their faces, and they had ended up eating scrambled eggs together, smiling like teenagers discovering love for the first time. Sophia's depth. Sophia's connection had always been quieter, more profound. He remembered the night they had wandered along the mansion's gardens, sharing childhood secrets under the stars.
Sophia had told him about the first time she had felt true independence, moving to a new city alone. Her voice had softened with vulnerability, and Mel had realized how deeply he cared for her. Later, they had shared an impromptu piano duet. Sophia, graceful with her fingers, had coaxed a melody from the old upright piano. Mel had fumbled beside her, laughing at his own mistakes, but when their music blended, it felt like harmony in life itself. In that quiet moment, he had understood that with Sophia, he felt complete, grounded, and seen in a way no one else had ever made him feel. As the final rose ceremony approached, Mel's heart twisted. Cindy's energy sparked his soul, demanding he step into adventure and joy. Sophia's presence calmed and challenged him in equal measure, inviting him into a deep emotional connection he couldn't ignore. He paced the suite, whispering to himself, "How do I choose? How do I decide? One fire, one calm. I love them both. Why does love have to be so hard?" He remembered the conversations they'd had. Cindy had confessed, "I want someone who's not afraid to jump into life with me, someone who laughs, who feels, who lives fully." Sophia had said, "I want someone who stays, even when it's quiet, someone who listens, understands, and grows alongside me." Two sides of love, two halves of him. He loved them both in ways impossible to compare, and yet the rules were simple. Only two could remain. Just as Mel was about to leave for the Rose Room, the host approached with a confidential whisper. "Mel, there's something you should know before tonight." Mel's brow furrowed. "What is it?" "There's a surprise waiting for one of the women. Someone from her past may be showing up to see how strong your connection is." His stomach twisted. Was this a test? Would it change how he felt? He took a deep breath, knowing that whatever happened, his heart had already made its choices, yet the drama was far from over. As the limousines arrived, Cindy's eyes sparkled like golden fire, and Sophia's gaze remained steady, serene. They approached him, both unaware of the surprise twist, both radiating the qualities that had captured him entirely. Mel swallowed hard. He knew the moment of truth had arrived. The Rose Room was quiet, except for the soft hum of cameras. The golden roses gleamed under the chandelier, symbolic of the choices he would make tonight. Cindy approached first. Her fiery energy radiated as she smiled, but Mel noticed a flicker of nervousness. He stepped closer. "You have brought so much light into my life. Every adventure, every laugh. I can't imagine this journey without you." Cindy's eyes filled with tears. "Mel, you mean that?" "Yes," he whispered. "You're one of my final two." Her laugh broke through, joy spilling over as she hugged him tightly. For a moment, the mansion faded away, and it was just the two of them, hearts connected in a perfect golden moment. Sophia stepped forward next, calm, poised, yet vulnerable. She took his hand. "Mel, no matter what happens, I've cherished every second with you. And I with you. You're my other final two. Your depth, your grace. I couldn't imagine this journey without you either." Sophia's eyes sparkled with unshed tears. The connection, quiet but powerful, enveloped them.